If someone asked me right now, Casey, what 3 ETFs are you buying if you had to start investing into AI from scratch? I would send them this video. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 3 ETFs that I'm investing into that cover artificial intelligence as a whole. And honestly, I think that the second and third ETF are going to really surprise you, and especially the third one you've probably never heard of. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you're going to have a completely different outlook on AI and a different perspective on investing into AI. Hey, my name is Casey. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Let's jump in. So here's the reason why this portfolio is based on 3 ETFs. And it all comes down to the 3 things that are necessary for AI to keep growing and for it to exist. So in my strategy, we're going to be buying one ETF that covers the foundation, another ETF that covers the actual semiconductors and chips that power the AI technology themselves, and then our third ETF is going to cover the actual energy that's required to power all of this. The way most people currently invest into AI, and maybe this is something that you're doing, is people are just buying the big brand names and nothing else. They're buying Nvidia, they're buying Microsoft, they're buying Meta. So instead of focusing your efforts on specific companies that if they fail, you're wiped out, it's best to incorporate ETFs while building your AI portfolio. All right, so with that out of the way, now let's talk about the first ETF that I would introduce into my AI portfolio if I was starting off from scratch. All right, ETF number 1 is probably going to be the most boring, but it is VOO or VOO. Now wait, before you click off the video, hear me out because this is going to tie in directly into ETF number 2 and ETF number 3. All right, so VOO, as most of you might know, tracks the S&P 500, the 500 largest companies. Well, out of those 500 largest companies, a vast majority of them is AI related. Think of Microsoft, AMD, Meta, Nvidia, and the list goes on. Those AI-based companies are a huge part of that index, meaning whenever we're buying VOO, a large portion of our money is also being invested into those huge companies. So we are getting a broad market exposure along with the name brand of AI. This is the anchor of the foundation. This is the base that everything gets built upon. Regardless of market conditions or trends, this is probably the best investment you could have in general. So while VOO is going to be our base for this portfolio, the second ETF is where we really turn on that risk switch. So the second ETF is really outperforming the market. But before I tell you what it is, let me tell you why I picked it. Every AI model runs on a chip. It doesn't matter about the software. It doesn't matter about the power. Without the chip, there is no AI. This is the core foundation of the actual technology itself. And demand for these chips is growing exponentially. You have companies like Microsoft who are spending over $80 billion just last year on data centers and infrastructure to house these AI chips. Each of these data centers that they're building is filled with servers. Each server that they're filling is filled with chips. Seriously, the demand for these semiconductors is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And what's even better is these companies are investing this money and it doesn't look like they're going to be stopping anytime soon. Nvidia had a revenue growth of over 200% year over year just driven by AI chip demand. As long as companies are going to continue to make money off of their investments into AI chips, they're going to keep investing into them. So this is where the second ETF, PSI, or Invesco's Dynamic Semiconductors ETF, comes into place. By putting money into PSI, you're investing into 30 US semiconductor companies. Now, the key distinction between PSI and other semiconductor ETFs is its dynamic model. Instead of owning the biggest names by market cap, PSI, they dynamically shift weight in the ETF based on underlying momentum in the market. So currently, as of recording of this video, KLA 10 Core, AMD, Broadcom, Nvidia, and Micron are the largest holdings in PSI. What's really shocking about this investment is its outperformance compared to the market. In the same time that the S&P 500 returned around 10% this year, PSI returned over 90%. Same time frame, same market, same news. What we're really doing by investing into the second ETF is really focusing on that semiconductor need. As long as semiconductors continue to be in demand, then this ETF is bound to grow. Because PSI focuses on medium and small cap names, that also means it's going to be more volatile than the market. So while growth potential is large, it is going to be more volatile and it can experience significant downturns if market sentiment shifts. But this portion of your AI portfolio is going to be definitely the most risk on. Highest risk, highest potential return, and it directly captures every dollar of AI infrastructure spending. So far with this AI portfolio, we have VU. That's going to cover the base foundation for this AI portfolio. Then on top of that, we scale a little bit more focused efforts with PSI. PSI is really going to concentrate on that semiconductor demand. But this third ETF takes it to another level. ETF number 3 doesn't have anything to do with technology and AI itself. It focuses on the energy powering that technology. In order for data centers to make a profitable return, they have to run 24/7, non-stop, all the time. Doesn't matter what the conditions outside that data center or warehouse are. If we look at current energy methods, we look at solar, we look at wind. But the thing is, you can't entirely rely on those energy sources for consistent all-around power. So companies, what they're doing is they're shifting their focus towards nuclear. They're looking at investments into small modular reactors and other little power plants that they could put up right at the data center, powered by nuclear energy that powers their whole data center with no downtime, all the time. Just as an example, you have companies like Microsoft and Meta. They're opening up power plants, nuclear power plants that have been either shut down or closed down completely because they know the advantages and the potential of these sites. Just to put into perspective how much big tech is investing into this, in the last 18 months, AI companies and big tech has added over 10% to the US total nuclear fleet. That means in 18 months, 10% of the total nuclear fleet was added just by tech companies alone. Companies that are building these AI data centers have access to cheap solar and wind energy. But what they're doing instead is they're investing into nuclear to power their AI. So what's this ETF that's behind this? That's going to be NLR. NLR, or the Van Eck Uranium and Nuclear ETF, consists of 29 companies across the entire nuclear energy sectors. In this ETF, you're going to find companies that are actually mining the uranium. You're going to find companies that are actually developing the components for the reactors. And you're going to find companies that are actually developing the infrastructure to put these things in place. One of the largest holdings in this ETF, Constellation Energy, at 8%, just signed deals with Microsoft and Meta. Unlike the previous ETF, with NLR, what we're doing is we're betting on the actual underlying energy sources that are going to power this technology going forward. And with that, it also introduces some balance to our previous investments. When it comes to AI, a lot of people tend to ignore the actual thing that powers everything that we do, which is electricity. People focus on developments, people focus on the new chips, but they forget about the power that is required for any of this to occur. Without the actual underlying power and the infrastructure to supply the energy needed to run these data centers, there is no AI. So now let's put it all together, right? VU is going to be your foundation. This is going to be the broad market that's going to grow as AI continues to develop. The second position in our AI portfolio that we're building is going to be PSI. This is going to be our offensive position. And with this, we're going to be investing directly into semiconductors. And as AI spending accelerates and semiconductor needs accelerate, then so should this investment. And our third ETF is going to be NLR. This is going to be our infrastructure position. With this, we take our investment to another layer and we go beyond the actual technology. We begin to invest into the actual energy that is powering these AI developments. Look, in the end, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a 21-year-old that's telling people online what I would invest my money into if I had to start over again. You should do your own research and actually get comfortable with understanding the risks and the downsides of what you're putting your money into before you actually invest. If you've learned something from this video or took something away that you didn't know before, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It helps grow the channel and push the video out to more people that might find this information of use. If you wanted to learn more about maybe the nuclear ETFs or anything else that was mentioned in this video, go ahead and check out the channel. In the comments, let me know what you think of these ETFs, or if you think there should be another ETF that might belong in this portfolio. My name is Casey, and this was another investigative look into your wallet's future. I'll catch you in the next one.